boring training stuff, sorry.
Show me up.
Yeah, I'll show you up here. One of the things that we were hoping to do was just familiarize you guys with our campus and kind of get to know us beyond all the articles and all that. So I just have a couple of videos I thought you'd enjoy. Sorry, I gotta use this mouse here. So this video is just a fun thing we put together that shows a lot of the highlights of WSU. If our sound works, I hope our sound works. It's buffering, I think. Try that again. It's gonna buffer, so hopefully it's gonna buffer. All right, well, you get the idea. It might be too, I think it's just too big for, maybe I can leave this up and it'll download as we go.
There you go.
It's slowly moving along, so I'll come back to the videos. How's that? All right, so I just thought I would just do my best to kind of show you things, and just keep in mind I don't really know SIMS at all, what you guys see, so you guys are going to coach me just as much as I'm going to try to help you all. So I have some IDs that I'm going to bring up, and by the way, my office is the undergraduate domestic admissions, so obviously you're not working incredibly with grad school and international students right now, but obviously you will in time. Our calls and our volume is the largest, though. We have, mostly undergraduate domestic students, so it would probably be the biggest volume of the calls you get. Let's see.
Just click on that caller tab, Bobby, and then you should be able to put the ID there.
Okay, great.
Right there.
Thank you.
And then over on that right-hand side at the top, just select it. And then our integration tab should come up at that point. You can just click integration and that should show you all the information that comes over. The admissions tracker is a little bit further down if you want to look at that.
Smells so weird.
Sorry.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, it is a little backwards. Is it? There you go. Okay.
All right, so for the admissions tracker, this young man is good to go, obviously. He has everything he needs to do, and it says his major here and what semester he's admitted in. I think obviously it's important for you all to know that right now we're admitting students for 4 different semesters at a time, so students can get admitted for this fall 2014, spring 2015, summer 2015, and fall 2015. So just be aware that you always probably want to make sure you're looking at the semester that the student wants for admission. And then to make your jobs even more complicated, we have different admission standards for different terms now, different semesters, and that's kind of a new thing for us. And Chrissy, who was one of my colleagues, she came here and trained you guys, I think, a couple weeks ago, so hopefully she told you all about that. But just FYI that you got to really be careful on those things.
So Bobby, are you always running like 4 semesters for enrollment?
Pretty much, with exception being once we get past this fall 2014, which will really be like 3 weeks.
Right.
By then, we'll probably stop admitting people. Then we'll just be doing 3 semesters worth.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is just a really busy time for us, so we're doing 4 semesters. So. Okay, so this is all pretty straightforward. This young man is admitted for next fall, like I said here. He really doesn't have anything that would need to be escalated. It's pretty straightforward. And then it says that he has to submit his final graduation transcript, and it gives you our address for that. But it's, again, really simple for his sake. Get this mouse to move. There it is. Okay, so that's that side of it. And then just to show you a couple of things on his checklist. One thing that I noticed, I was helping someone earlier this morning. I would highly recommend whenever you're trying to help someone with admissions, whether it's my office or graduate or international, I would make sure you click down on both the admissions area and the academic records area. The academic records area stores the test information like ACT, SAT, the graduate school exams, things like that. So it might just be helpful to be looking at both of those at the same time. So in this young man's case, we have his application. We've received it here as the status date. We've received his application fee. Now, you might be thinking, well, you don't have his transcript, but you've admitted him. Well, we could admit him because the way we've set up for his semester of admission, we will actually admit students based off of their unofficial records. So on his admission application, he said, I took math my freshman year and I got this. I took this math class my sophomore year and I got this and all of that. So we don't actually need official transcripts from students until they really graduate from high school. So that's a big change for us. That's a new change for us. And I think and I hope I've written that into the knowledge base articles pretty succinctly, so hopefully it all comes together for you. But the bottom line is you'll see, this student was admitted, says decision made. Although it's showing his student acceptance status as NA. I don't know why that's showing as NA. I may have to look at that. I'm not sure why this is showing as NA. I know that's hard to see, but
Okay.
I'll look at that. So any questions about him? He's pretty simple. He's pretty straightforward.
Do you have a question, Megan?
No, I was just gonna say, well, we were in training where it says the student acceptance status. They actually told us not to look at that. I don't know. That's why they said it said NA, but that's just what I learned in training.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
do you know why we told them not to look at the student's acceptance status?
They said that it wasn't pulling the right information. It had said, what does it say up there now, Bobby?
Right now it says NA.
Okay.
It said, I think it's one point, it may have said yes, but I want to say it was Gina that said that doesn't necessarily mean they've been accepted. That's something else that, like, whatever's pulling from there is not the answer to whether or not they've been accepted. And we were reading it as having a yes there meant that they were accepted.
Okay. Well, I think maybe then the coaching for now is this admission decision column here. This says self-reported academic admit, so he is admitted in this case. We'll pull up some other ones and we'll see what else it might say. Okay. How do I clear him out? Oops.
Collar tab.
I'm sorry?
The collar tab.
Column 10, thank you.
You can just put it in another section.
Okay, so if we start with the tracker again, the student has completed the application and they are, looks like, missing a document. In this student's case, they are missing their Butler County Community College transcript. And you'll see Butler a lot. That is a community college that is 10-15, they have a site 10-15 minutes from our campus. And we get about 400 transfers from there every single year. So you're going to see Butler Community College a lot. Then down here it says obviously all the items they received and all the things that we requested, so that's good. So the only thing holding up their admission is the Butler transcript. Then if we look at their place here, this particular student, it looks like, has multiple semesters they've applied for admission. And I'm guessing this one here on top is the most recent one, so that's the one you would really be looking at, this incomplete one. In this case, the student acceptance status is still NA. I'll ask Stephanie about these because I'm not sure exactly what it is that we're looking for on some of these. I'll ask Stephanie about this. Any questions about this one? But the bottom line is this one's still incomplete, so we're just waiting on that Butler transcript. Pretty straightforward. Okay, I'm going to attempt to do one for, I think this is an international admissions one. Or not, because I must not have written it down correctly. I'll do another one. And by the way, while this is going, I've told Stephanie this, and she may have relayed the message, but most of the students you're going to serve for our office, they don't know their telephone access code, they don't know their WSU ID, so these are the students who just really have very little information about themselves in terms of the verification process. All right. This student, so this student is missing a lot of different things here, it looks like. Senior class schedule, a lot of students who have applied for admission for next fall 2015, they've given us some of their course information, but we still need more. In particular, we need what they're doing this senior year, this coming year, as their last year in high school. So we're just waiting on that information for this student in particular. The next item here, an updated transcript. That means we just needed their updated college transcript from Newman University, it looks like. So it just kind of obviously depends on the situation, but hopefully that one's pretty straightforward. And then this will give you the full listing. So if we look at this, if we look at this here, you can see we have their application on file, we have their application fee on file. We really just need that senior class transcript, and then we'll eventually need this Newman transcript too. Any questions about this one? Okay, and I just have one more.
I think the good thing that is this is helping us with, Bobby, is to see the flow. You're going into the tracker first,
Yeah.
and then you're going back to the various tabs.
Okay. And this student, this would be an escalation because, I'll show you why. Well, when we did it as a task record, it was an escalation. It may not be an escalation in here, but I'll look. So yeah, it actually does look like this one is an escalation because this one's complete and ready for review. And then, right, because this would only show for you if it was an escalation. Is that right? Is that how your system works? This says step 3, escalate the issue. Oh, sorry.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, good. So basically what this means is to translate for you, what this status here, complete and ready for review, that means we need to do something in my office to review the file and get the student admitted. So that's why you would create the escalation. We have obviously such a big volume of students, we don't always catch that we have the information we need and we need to process the file. So that's what that does. So then if we look at all of the stuff in the checklist, we have the application, we have the application fee, we have the college transcript. So this is a real big indicator. We've got everything, it just looks like we need to do something internally in our office. Okay, so those are all the IDs that I had there. Any questions, any general questions I can help with?
How many calls have you guys taken today? 4? 3 calls? You taken 1, Megan? Okay. Huh?
It was way early.
Way earlier. All right. Anything on the calls that you took that you had questions on? No? We were able to pretty much get through those?
I do think one of the tricks for you all is just having to remember for our campus, we're a pain in the rear, I know, but we have 3 admissions offices, and so just trying to keep those admissions requirements keep them in your head and trying to make sure you're searching in the right one and giving the student the right knowledge base answers and those kinds of things based off of which office they need to go through. I know that's difficult for you guys. It's difficult for us on our campus, so that's why I know it's got to be a challenge for you.
Well, in the KB, I mean, you guys they're pretty proficient in the
Great.
KB, so it's just getting comfortable with the documents we got
Yeah.
there. Did you, no?
When you get a caller and they're calling, before you go into the account, how are you supposed to advise? I mean, basically have them ask if they're a domestic student or undergraduate student.
Oh, okay. How do we determine which they need to go if they haven't been verified yet? Yeah, that's a good question. So what I would ask is, what is it they're trying to accomplish? Are they trying to apply for college for the first time? And a lot of times high school students don't know the difference between undergraduate and graduate school because they think, oh, okay, I'm graduating high school, so I must be a graduate student, which is not correct. So they don't even know the terminology. So when you guys, sorry, I'm trying to think of how the call gets transferred for you. The bottom line is if you don't know, if you have no verification of the student, if the student says, or if you want to ask them, are you asking questions? Well, I guess you could start with, are you a U.S. citizen or permanent resident? And then if it's a U.S. citizen, then it's either my office or graduate school. Then you could also ask, okay, are you looking to be an undergraduate student or a graduate student? And if they know, then obviously that's simple. But if they don't know, it's probably a high school senior or a high school student who just doesn't know what the difference is between the two. And I'm sure you all can tell them differences between the two.
But is there something in the tracker that you can determine?
I wrote, it is in the tracker, yes. I'm sorry if that's what you're asking me. I don't think I answered that question very well. Good question.
I'm trying to pull one up too, just so I look.
this would be helpful right here, this right column, this far right column, academic level. UG is undergraduate, and if it's a graduate student, it'll be GR, I believe. So that would be a good place to look for sure. That doesn't necessarily,
I mean, the national ID, are we bringing that over?
the which ID?
The national ID up at the top of the integration tab? Over to the left?
I don't think
date
we're
of
bringing
birth?
that over. I
No,
don't
we're
know
not
what that
bringing the
is.
date of birth right now. Okay.
I don't know what that is. I don't think we're bringing that over.
And I don't know if they're a graduate student, it just goes through the graduate records, even if they're international. Right, Bobby?
What was that?
If it's graduate school, we don't really make a distinction between undergrad and grad. We send them to the graduate school.
If it's yes, we don't make a distinction between international and undergrad.
Right.
Domestic, yeah.
And the other thing is, I don't usually ask people if they're citizens, just because I think sometimes that can be touchy.
Yeah,
I ask them if they're applying for international admission,
yeah, that's a better way to ask that for sure.
and they would know, because they have so many extra steps to go through. If they don't know it, then I'd say that they're
Then they're not.
domestic, right?
I'm trying to find an international student so that way we can double check what I was thinking here. Okay, well here's at least a graduate student, so you can see here, because it's a graduate student, their academic level is showing as GR for graduate. And this student is international, but you're right, I guess, okay, one other way you can tell, if we know it's an international student, this visa type would get filled in, and nation of citizenship would get filled in. So if you see something populated in there, it's an international student. That's a great question. Anything else I can help with? Let me see if my video works.
nice video.
Thanks. All right, that's all I got.
Any
Any other questions?
other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
I had one. What kind of calls were you taking today? There was only about 10 of them, I know, but.
I had one just admissions call. He just wanted to know the status, and he actually still had to get in his high school transcript.
Okay.
And that was it.
And Mom wanted to know if we had received her transcripts.
Okay.
Their status of their admissions.
Okay.
So what were your other two? Were they all about the status of the?
2 of them was admissions and one was student accounts.
Okay. So you just had to transfer that over to student accounts. Okay.
Cool.
All right, and I know we're pulling the calls.